Welcome back. The mainland has stepped up assistance to Hong Kong in a battle against COVID. A train arrived with medical supplies, and 38 butchers will help restore fresh meat supplies. Chloe Fong reports.
Chief Executive Carrie Lam was at the Lo Wu station this morning to welcome the first freight train arriving from Shenzhen with items to fight COVID. The goods included 20,000 sets of protective gear, blood analyzers, and more than 100,000 rapid test kits. Lam said the government would also do its best to secure enough food and other essential products and advised people against panic buying. Her call comes as 1/4 of cross-border lorry drivers are quarantined in Shenzhen, causing a shortage of supplies, mainly vegetables. Lam said talks are underway on establishing a centralized sea cargo transport point to deliver non-perishable food. Meanwhile, a COVID outbreak in the Shangshui slaughterhouse has resulted in a shortage of manpower and meat. A special team of professional butchers from the mainland was expected to arriving today to help resume operations at local abattoirs and ensure a continuous supply of fresh meat. The butchers, who all volunteered to come to Hong Kong for 2 months, are from various places, including Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Inner Mongolia. But the head of a local pork trading association, Hui Wai-kin, said the mainland team may not be enough to tackle the shortage. He estimated that Sunday will be the earliest for a full resumption of meat supply in Hong Kong. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Former Bar Association Chairman Paul Harris has left Hong Kong just hours after meeting National Security Police, according to One Way Po newspaper. The pro-Beijing Daily published photos of Harris at the airport last night. He was quoted as saying he was on his way to Turkey, where he would get a flight to Britain. The human rights lawyer went to police headquarters in Wan Chai yesterday and was reportedly asked to explain suspected acts of breaching national security. Activist Tam Tak Chi has been convicted of sedition under a colonial-era law and will be sentenced at the end of the month. The 49-year-old former vice chairman of People Power was found guilty of 11 out of 14 charges. They included uttering seditious words, holding an illegal assembly, and inciting others to join, and disorderly conduct. District Judge Stanley Chan said Tam had called for the police force to be disbanded and possessed flyers containing seditious words. In New Zealand, fires were set near Parliament by demonstrators as police ended their anti-vaccine protest.
It was an attack on our frontline police. It was an attack on our Parliament. It was an attack on our values, and it was wrong. I was both angry and also deeply saddened. To see the Parliament, your Parliament, our Parliament, desecrated in that way, and a children's playground destroyed by a small group of illegal protesters made me feel both angry and deeply sad.
Police in the capital, Wellington, moved in to dismantle tents erected by protesters who disrupted activity in and around Parliament for the past 3 weeks. Several people were arrested as the officers waded into the encampment. A number of fires were set before the protesters left, but many took up position on the sidelines and hurled objects at police. Oil has shot up to $113 a barrel on fears that the war in Ukraine will disrupt supplies. Brent crude reached its highest in 8 years before retreating slightly. West Texas Intermediate is selling at a 9-year high, fetching close to $111 a barrel. Traders are worried about exports from Russia, which supplies 10% of the world's oil. To offset any shortage, The United States is urging several countries to release about 50 million barrels from their reserves. U.S. President Joe Biden has vowed to tackle inflation, saying it's his top priority. In his State of the Union address, he outlined his plan to lower costs.
Americans have been complaining about higher prices. Everything from petrol to food to housing costs more. That's mainly because inflation in the United States is at a 40-year high. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates this month to rein in rising prices. But President Joe Biden also has a plan.
One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages. And folks,
Biden said relying on supplies from overseas is risky, noting that COVID-induced delays resulted in fewer goods in the market and that caused higher prices.
that means make more cars and semiconductors in America. More infrastructure and innovation in America, more goods moving faster and cheaper in America, more jobs where you can earn a good living in America. Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America. Look,
Biden singled out China as America's biggest economic competitor and said his administration is determined that the United States be number one. He added that the U.S. needs to level the economic playing field with Beijing and other rivals.
Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng ended the day down 417 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent lost $7.60. Meituan gained $3, while Alibaba picked up 10 cents. CNOOC was up 34 cents. HSBC down $2.80, while the Tracker Fund was down 38 cents. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro's at 8.67, the pound sterling at 10.41, and the Australian dollar at 5.67. Over in Europe, the London FTSE is currently up 68 points. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy tomorrow with sunny intervals after mist patches at first. Temperatures will range between 18 and 23 degrees. The mist will prevail in the morning as it gets warmer towards the weekend. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Wednesday. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Yeung. Good evening.